The moment we launched that game, everything around me changed. The air felt heavier, thicker, like the room itself knew something I didn't. You know that feeling when silence suddenly feels alive? That's exactly how it started. My monitor hummed softly, the glow from the screen washing my walls in cold blue light. The title read only 2 words, Beach House. No studio name, no intro music, nothing but the faint sound of waves and a single flickering lamp beside a cracked window. I thought it was just another indie horror demo. I'd played dozens of them before, glitchy, spooky, usually predictable. But something about this one felt aware. When I clicked start, the screen glitched for half a second, static, distortion, and a flash of something pale moving in the corner of the title screen. I leaned forward, thinking it was part of the design, but then my webcam light blinked on by itself. Just a second, enough to make my stomach twist. I laughed nervously and said to chat, "Okay, that's weird. Who gave this game permission to spy on me?" The joke barely left my mouth before a whisper came through my headphones. Soft, wet, too close. It said my name. My real name, not my username, my full name, like someone sitting right beside me had breathed it out. For a moment, I froze. My hands hovered over the keyboard, waiting for some kind of in-game prompt. Nothing, just the sound of the waves. Then the main menu flickered, and a new line of text appeared across the top of the screen. "Welcome back." I stared at it, confused. I hadn't played this before. I even checked my save files, but there were none. The sound of the ocean grew louder, mixing with what sounded like faint footsteps on wood. That's when the lights in my room dimmed, the monitor's brightness dropped, and for a split second I saw something, a reflection behind me. A figure, still, watching. I spun around, but there was no one there. When I turned back, the game had already loaded into the first scene. No loading bar, no fade, just black. Then a voice whispered again, right beside my ear, "You came back." I should have stopped right there. But I didn't. The world faded in with the sound of crashing waves and a seagull crying somewhere in the distance. I blinked as my character stood barefoot on the sand, the horizon drenched in silver moonlight. The water looked alive, not game, rendered alive, but almost real, the kind of movement that feels unpredictable, human. Every ripple glowed faintly, reflecting that same flickering light from the title screen window. The air was thick with mist, and I remember saying to chat, "Okay, not bad, pretty solid graphics." Trying to sound casual even though something about it already felt wrong. Ahead of me stood the beach house. Big, empty. The paint peeled from the walls like old skin, and the windows were black, too black. Like they were absorbing light instead of reflecting it. A single lantern hung by the door, swinging even though there was no wind. Every few seconds, it would flicker, and I swore I saw movement behind one of the windows, a brief silhouette, tall and thin. I made my character walk closer. The sound design was unreal. The sand crunched beneath every step. The wind seemed to whisper words I couldn't make out. When I reached the porch, the wooden planks moaned beneath my feet. I hesitated, my mouse hovering over the door handle. Then, without me touching anything, the door creaked open by itself. A chill ran down my spine, but of course, I laughed it off for the stream. "Guess we're invited," I said. Classic horror move, right? Inside, the air looked thick, not foggy, just heavy, like the humidity had weight. Dust particles floated in the light beams from the broken windows, and the furniture was covered in old white sheets. The walls were lined with family portraits, but the faces in every photo were wrong. Smudged, blurred, like someone had wiped them away with their hands. One photo had 5 people standing on the porch, a man, a woman, 3 kids, but when I zoomed in, there were 6 shadows on the ground. Then came the whisper, quiet, almost beneath the sound of the ocean outside. It said something, but I couldn't make it out. The chat went silent. My headphones filled with static for half a second, and then the whisper came again, clearer this time. It said, "Don't go upstairs." I wish I'd listened, of course. I went upstairs, because that's what every horror gamer does. We go exactly where the game tells us not to. I remember joking to chat, "Yeah, sure, let's ignore the creepy ghost lady's advice." But my voice came out thinner than I meant it to. Each step up that staircase sounded too real, wood creaking, dust shifting, the echo of something breathing above me. The deeper I went, the quieter everything became. Even the ocean outside faded until it was just my footsteps and something faintly dripping. At the top of the stairs, the hallway stretched out longer than it should have, way longer. The walls were warped, the doors uneven like the house was changing shape while I moved. Wallpaper peeled in long strips, curling at the edges as if something had clawed at it from the inside. I passed one open door and glanced in. It was a bedroom, but the bed was wet, completely soaked, like someone had dragged it straight out of the ocean and left it there to rot. The sheets glistened with water, and underneath, something was moving, slow and rhythmic, like breathing. My chat was spamming messages. "Bro, leave. Don't go in there. Something's behind you." I tried to make a joke to calm myself, but then I noticed the light at the end of the hallway, faint and pulsing. One door was cracked open, and water pooled beneath it, spreading slowly across the floorboards toward me. I pushed it open, and there she was. A woman stood facing the corner, her hair long, tangled, and dripping water onto the wood. She didn't move. The only sound was that steady drip, drip, drip. My character whispered automatically, "Hello." The moment the word left his mouth, she twitched. Her head jerked, just slightly, then again, sharper, faster, until with a sickening snap, she turned completely around. Her face wasn't a face. The skin looked pale and stretched, her eyes hollow like someone had scooped them out. Her mouth hung open in this wide, painful grin that didn't move, even as the rest of her body began to shake. The game froze for half a second, then the screen filled with static, her face distorted across it. That's when I heard it. Knocking, not in the game, from my wall, 3 slow, deliberate knocks. I froze, staring at the wall beside me, barely breathing. My stream chat blew up with messages. Before I could say anything, she screamed, and the screen went black. When the screen went black, I thought the game had crashed. I sat there frozen, waiting for the usual error message to pop up. But instead, the sound came back, the soft rush of waves, that same rhythmic dripping, and something else beneath it, a faint whispering, like multiple voices overlapping, repeating one phrase over and over, "You're not done yet." The game suddenly restarted on its own, no title screen this time. I spawned right back in the hallway, same wet floorboards, same flickering light. Only now, the air looked heavier. Every few seconds, the shadows on the walls seemed to move, bending, stretching, breathing. I tried to pause the game. Nothing happened. I hit escape again and again, and that same message appeared on the screen. "You're not done yet." I laughed nervously, telling chat it was just part of the game design, probably a looping mechanic. My friend joined the voice call and said, "Relax, man, it's scripted. Find the trigger to end the loop." Easy for him to say. He wasn't hearing the whispers directly in his ear. I started walking down the hallway again, checking every door. Each one led to the same room, a bedroom with a broken mirror and that same dripping sound. I walked through it 3 times, 4 times, 5 times. Every time I came back out, the hallway got shorter. The walls seemed to close in, and the wallpaper looked wet now, dark patches spreading like rot. My friend said something in my headset, but his voice was strange, distant, muffled, like he was talking through water. Then he stopped responding completely. I could still hear him breathing, but not in a normal way, slow, deep, too close to the mic. That's when I heard it behind me, Footsteps, soft, squelching, like bare feet on wet wood. I turned my character around, but there was nothing there. The camera flickered, then again, and suddenly she was standing right behind me, the woman, her soaked hair clinging to her face, her mouth hanging open. I yanked off my headphones, but I still heard her, that same breathing, only louder, right behind me in my actual room. I slammed my laptop shut so hard the screen cracked. The sound stopped instantly. For a few seconds, everything was silent, no waves, no whispers, no breathing. Just my heart hammering. I stood there, holding my breath, waiting. And then, faintly, from inside the closed laptop, came one single word. Stay. I didn't open the laptop again that night. I couldn't. I unplugged it, shoved it under my desk, and sat in silence for a long time, trying to convince myself it was all in my head, some weird glitch, a sleep-deprived hallucination. But when I finally did fall asleep, I dreamed of the ocean. It wasn't calm or peaceful. It was endless, black, and filled with voices whispering from beneath the waves. When I woke up, I could still hear them for a few seconds before they faded away. I tried shaking it off, told myself I needed coffee and sunlight. But when I opened my laptop the next morning, the beach house game was gone, completely. No folder, no shortcut, no trace in my history. Just gone. At first, I was relieved. Maybe it had uninstalled itself during the crash, but something felt off. The wallpaper on my desktop, the one I'd had for years, had changed. It was now an image of a dark shoreline, moonlight reflecting off water that looked exactly like the beach from the game. I didn't put it there. My stomach dropped. I texted my friend from the night before, asking if anything weird happened on his end. He didn't answer for a few minutes, then he sent a photo. It was a screenshot of his desktop, the same shoreline, the same exact wallpaper, only in his version there was a figure standing at the edge of the water. Tall, still, watching, his message read, "Did your game do this too?" I wanted to reply, but before I could, my phone screen glitched, static flickered across the photo. And when it cleared, the figure was gone. We spent the whole day searching online for any trace of the game. Reddit, Steam forums, obscure horror archives, nothing. No developer, no title, no download links. It was like it never existed. Then we found one old post on a forgotten forum, dated 2 years earlier. It said, "If you ever find a game called Beach House 3am, don't play it. It's not a game, it's an invitation." The account that posted it was deleted. The replies were blank, and as I scrolled through, my speakers crackled. The sound of waves filled the room again, not from the forum, not from a video, but from inside my computer. That's when I realized it wasn't over. That night, I decided I was done. No more horror games, no more late night streams, nothing. I needed to sleep. I unplugged everything, my computer, speakers, even the router, just in case. The silence that followed felt strange, almost artificial, like the world had gone on mute. I remember sitting there in the dark, trying to convince myself none of it was real, just a glitchy demo. A weird coincidence. But then, as I stood up to leave my desk, something flickered in the corner of my eye. It was my window. At first, I thought it was just the moon reflecting off the glass until I saw the movement. Out there beyond my reflection was the ocean, the same one from the game, pale waves rolling under a sickly white sky. And on the shore, the beach house, perfectly still, faint light glowing from a single window. I blinked hard, rubbed my eyes, and it was gone. The window showed nothing but darkness and my own terrified reflection staring back at me. I laughed nervously, told myself it was sleep deprivation, just my brain playing tricks after hours of stress. I went to bed, but sometime after 3 a.m., I woke up to a sound, slow, steady dripping, like water hitting the floor. I turned on the light. There, beside my desk, was a small puddle of salt water. My laptop was still closed, but its power light was on. The fan was running, and from inside, faintly, I could hear it. The waves. I reached for it, hesitated, and then stopped. The whisper came again, softer this time, like it was right beside me. Come back. I slammed the lid shut and threw a towel over it. I don't even know why, as if that could stop it. The next morning, the puddle was gone, but the air smelled like seawater. I checked my phone, new message from an unknown number. It was a photo of that same beach house, only this time it wasn't empty. Someone was standing in the doorway, and the message underneath said, "We're waiting." So yeah, safe to say, I'm never opening that game again. If you ever see Beach House 3A.M. online, don't play it. Don't even download it, because once you do, she knows where you are. Anyway, thanks for watching. Stay safe, lock your doors, and maybe avoid the ocean tonight.